Hey everybody, it's Tamika. I am here with another craft chat with me video, and this is going to be on the video I uploaded a couple days ago. As a guest design team member of Scrapbooking with Me Boutique, I completed this project in a fast amount of time, guys. This is going to be a really easy project for you to do, and I will put the link in the description box to this video. It's just a few days old, but today I am going to do the tutorial, the construction tutorial of this book. And if you remember, this is how it is. It's an accordion mini album. You can put lots of pictures in here. I'm going to do the tutorial a little bit differently, which is easier for you guys, faster, and I just was complicated with myself on this one. I made like separate flanges. I just found the easiest way that I could do it after fiddling with some paper. I was like, oh, I could have just did it this way. So I am going to show you that today. If you have not seen this video, I will put a link in the description box for this. Super, super cute. And come on, let's get some supplies and come and craft and chat with me. All right, the items that you will need are a scoreboard or scoring, whatever you're going to use to score your paper. You will need a bone folder or any other scoring tool that you have. You need a paper trimmer, of course. You will need wet glue or double-sided tape, your choice. I'm going to use both in this one. So either one is fine with me. You need a pair of scissors, and you'll need some type of a tab punch, or you can make your own tab punch. And then you'll need a circle punch or an oval punch or anything that you could use to make a little place where people can see that you need to pull here. And then you'll need some cardstock. I'm using white 110-pound weight cardstock. You'll also need pattern paper, which I will not do. You'll need pattern paper to complete the album. Of course, I'm not doing another album like this right now, but I'm going to do the base because I'm not sure what I'm going to use this one for. I know I'm going to use it for something, so I haven't picked out any paper yet. So I'm just going to show you the construction, but I will show you, how to get to the part where you just have to layer with pattern paper. And then you'll also need some chipboard. I'm using heavyweight chipboard. I get this off of Amazon. I'll put the link in the description box below if you guys want to purchase some of this. So let's get started. All right, we're starting with some cardstock, the chipboard, the tape, and the bone folder, and some scissors. And pardon my voice, guys. Rob decided to be super generous and spread his germs. So I'm a little infected right now. So I apologize for any nasalness going on. So what you want to do is attach. I'm using 8.5 by 11 cardstock. You want to attach the two sides together. You guys have seen me do this many times, but I am going to do it again. So I know a lot of you like the start to finish, where rather than me saying, oh, check the link in the description box for the video that I did on this. So you like it all at like one-stop shopping, which is fine. If I'm here, I can do it. So apologize to those of you who already know how to do this. This will only take a few minutes. All right. So I just added 2 pieces of double-sided tape. That was 1/2-inch tape that I added. And I just want to make sure that that gets nice and adhered. And then I'm going to take my chipboard. Excuse me. I'm going to take my chipboard and apply some double-sided tape to the back so that it will adhere to the covers, because that's what we want it to do. And we don't want it to be all squeaky, making the squeaky sound, because we don't like that. So I like to apply a generous amount. This is double-sided tape that I got from, it's either leftover from the expo, because that's where I usually would get a bunch of it from last year. I mean, like literally, I get a lot. And then, or Tuesday morning. And I had a recent haul not too long ago that I had found a bunch of this in the red tape too. I like this double-sided tape. It has not failed me yet, so I'm going to continue to keep using it. So I just took my little bone folder and went over the edge. I'm going to start with my spine, and what I do is I flip it over and look for this mark. That is where I want the middle of my spine to be on the top. So it's not going to line up with this mark, see, because they're overlapped. So I'm going to line the middle of my spine with that. Okay, so take this off. Okay, and I know that my spine is there, so I know that I'm going to have that right about here, being sure to leave some space for the fold over to happen. So you want to leave a little bit of space at the top and the bottom of the chipboard so you can fold it over. Okay, then you want to go ahead and take the tape off this panel. I don't know if I mentioned the panels. I probably didn't, but these are 5 by 7. You'll need 2 of them. And then this is 2 by 7. Okay, and I'm just leaving about 1/8 of an inch gap between the spine and the chip pieces. So my book is 5 by 7. I just really work down from my paper. So if I know I'm using a 6 by 6 paper pad, I just add a border and then I add like a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch border, and then I add a little bit more for the cover so it can kind of layer. So my book is 5 by 7. Okay, so this is this side here. Again, I'm just going to eyeball that. When I put this up, I want it to go down a little bit more. I can. All right. Okay, so that's adhered. Now we just want to fold it over. You could fold it over by yourself using your hand, your hands, or you can take your bone folder and kind of give it a little crease all around the edges so it can kind of break the fibers up a little bit. That's what I do when I know that I have a small amount left over. Kind of get it prepped for my fold over. Makes it a lot easier. I'm going to cut off a little bit of this. You want to leave about 1 inch. That's enough for you to fold over and cover the sides of the book. All right. Save one of these pieces that you cut off. You'll have opportunity to get another little scrap later, but I just figure I'd save that since it's here. So I'm going to fold that over. All right, on all these sides. Okay, and then we're going to miter the corners, and that is just basically, this is your dot here. You want to cut it at an angle. This is where they intersect, right here and right here. See the intersection going on? So you want to cut it just past that intersection so that you can have a nice corner fold. So you want to do that to all of the corners. Okay. Very good. Okay. Now you want to grab your double-sided tape and start adding it around the border of the paper. And then where there is more paper left over, you can either shave it down with the scissors, or you can add, I just ran out of that tape, or you can add a smaller piece of tape in between. So I'm going to add this here. This is like 1/4 inch tape. And add that there. And I had another little space here. Just going to add that in between. Ideally, I would like to have a 1 inch tape. And that would have just covered this. Or I could have cut it smaller, but it's not a big deal. The more tape, the more it sticks. I'm just going to run that over with my bone folder. Okay, I'm going to take my scissors and we're going to cut up to the score mark right where the spine meets the score line. So don't go past the score line. just right up to it, just like that. And that just allows for the book to bend better, fold better, bend better, crease, all of that. Right there, and that's a little thicker because that's where my paper is overlapping. Okay. So now we can just take off the tapes. I don't know why, but I just start at the ends. It's just what I do. You can start anywhere. Take off the tape, fold it over, make sure it's nice and crisp, and then do the same thing for the opposite side. Okay. Now we can work the bottoms. And with the bottoms, you just want to make sure you pull that tight, fold it up so you can get that nice crisp corner right there. See? Nice crisp. And if you don't get the crisp corner, we can always cover it up later with paper. That's what we do. We use paper. Goodness grief. What are you doing here? Alright. I don't like that. That's probably, oh, that's where this is where my tape ran out. I'm going to add some more tape down here. That's where my 1/2 inch tape ran out, right there. So that's why it wasn't sticking. I'm just going to add 2 little pieces of 1/4 inch tape. And we're all good. Boom. Okay. Now let's flip it to this side. Okay. And get this middle done. And then this last piece. Alright, I have a tiny bit of overhang right here that I don't like. All I have to do is snip that off. You can always fix that. It's better over than under. Alright, so I'm just going to run my bone folder over all these edges lightly in the middle to help it crease. Give it a good fold. Slowly fold it over so that your paper doesn't crack. And there we go. That's what I was saying. That spine is right in the middle. Okay, so now let's cover the inside. I'm going to grab another sheet of pattern paper. Now this won't fit. You see, it does not go all the way. So we're going to cut this down to 7. This is 8.5 by 11. I'm going to cut it down to 7 inches. That is the height of the book. And then I'm going to grab another piece and then cut that down to 7 by 5. Okay. So this piece is going to line up right in that corner perfectly. And then we're going to take this piece and cover the base like that, so that when it folds, it's right in the crack and you can't see a distinction in the paper starting and stopping. So I'm going to actually grab another 1/2 inch tape. Okay, well, here's the tape here, and I like this tape as well. This is a double-sided tape as well, but it didn't come from Tuesday Morning or the Expo. This came from a while ago. A friend of mine had gone to Daiso and she had sent me some of this double-sided tape. So I still love it and I use it, and I'm down to like one little teeny tiny roll, and we don't have a Daiso by us, so I've recently asked her if whenever she goes next, please send me some tape. So yeah, I like this tape. And I use a lot of it. As you guys can tell, I use a lot of on my craft projects. I don't skimpy on the tape too much, because I want my projects to stay as best they can, especially considering that this is paper that we're putting together. Alright, I'll run the bone folder over that in a second, and then we're going to tape this one. And this is that 5x7 piece that's going to hide the line for the cutoff from the previous piece. Yeah, the only thing I don't like about this tape is that I have to cut it. That's why I don't like score tape. It adheres very well, the score tape, and the red line tape the same. I recently bought some red line tape from Tuesday Morning, but I'm a bit of a faster crafter, and it just slows me down. I like to rip and go, honey. I just want to get my tape out the way. This is the part of crafting that does not, I like the least, I'll say. The matting and the taping, I really just want to get to the decorating part. The designing and decorating part is what I like the most. So I'm just running this over with the bone folder. Alright, it's time to take these puppies off. This paper is quite sturdy when you add this tape to it. It's very thick to begin with because it's a 110-pound weight. But yeah. Okay. And I'm just going to line this up. Move that to the top. There we go. And then we're going to grab the 5x7 piece and layer this puppy right on the top of that. And we're going to work on the right edge, from the right edge coming in this time. Let me fold over that extra tape right there. Alright, so this is the right edge of the paper. I'm going to turn it a little bit so that I don't mess up. Grabbing that edge. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to take our little bone folder, find the crease just right about here, and then this one right about here, and just give it a light little tap, and fold it over. There, and just keep working it so that it folds over. Don't force it too hard. See, you just slowly get that, because you don't want to crack it, right? So there we go. That's this book. Pretty thick. And sometimes I'll let it lean over like this a little bit to kind of get those grooves working together so it won't be so stiff. There we are. That portion's done. So I'm going to clean up this mess, and we're going to come back and make our inserts. Okay, so I realized that I cannot proceed to the next step with doing the inserts unless I put pattern paper down on the inside of the covers. So I cut 2 pieces of paper at just a 1/8 of an inch smaller than the spine. So the spine, the base of the book is 5x7. So I cut it to 4 7/8 by 6 7/8. And then I found this paper in the garage, and I was destashing, and I'd never used it. And it's the this Heidi Swapp planner paper. And yeah, it's really cute paper, and it's 6x8, I think. Yeah, 6 by 8. Yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, when I got it, like, I forgot about this paper, but it's really pretty. So that's what I used for the insides of my cover. So I guess I am forced to pick a pattern paper right now. So that's what we're going to use for this, and hopefully I can mix it in with whatever pictures I'm going to put in here. So go ahead and layer these papers at, again, 4 7/8 by 6 7/8. So that's 1/8 of an inch smaller than that, which is 5 by 7. All right, and then now we can go ahead and start the inserts. Okay, so you know that scratch sheet of paper that I said leave out, that piece of paper? Here's where you're going to use it. First, I am going to even out my lengthwise here. And then I want to cut this down to 4 3/4. Make sure it's nice and straight and even on the 4 3/4 inch side. Okay, doesn't matter what the width is. The length just has to be 4 3/4. So you can set that aside. You want to write, I'm going to write on there so we don't know it's not just a scratch sheet of paper. This is going to be your template. And it's 4 3/4 by whatever. Okay, so take your hole punch or whatever you're going to use. I'm using this oval punch, and center it right in the middle. This is where your pull tabs are going to go. So you want to make sure that everything is nice and even. I am going to eyeball it. Boom. So this is where all of my pull things will be. So yeah, now we can set that aside. So now for the inserts, you want to take the 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and we want to cut it down to 8 1/4 by 7 3/4. And you want to cut down, so you can use this piece too. If you didn't save the beginning piece, you can use one of these pieces too. And do the same thing. Cut your template to 4 3/4 and punch the hole. So 7 3/4 by 8 1/4, and you want to repeat that 8 times. So you want to have 8 sheets of these so we can move on to the next step. All right, we're going to start with the next step. On the 8 1/4 inch side, we want to score at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and 1.5 inches. That's what we want to do. 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5 inches. Okay, we're going to flip it to the 7 3/4 inch side and do the same thing. 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5 inches. Okay, then we want to flip it to this side. So just completely turn it all the way around. So you should have score marks up here at the top. So we're going to cross those score marks with the same 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and 1.5 inch score marks. Okay, so this is what you should have. 3 score marks on the left, the far left, 3 score marks on the far right, and 3 score marks at the bottom, all 1/2 inch apart. 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5, same. Okay, so do that to all of the 8 sheets of paper. Okay, you should have this right now, which is where we left off. And then take your template. Your template should fit perfectly in the center of the score mark. It should fit right there. So you should have 3 score marks to the left of it and 3 score marks to the right of it. Line it up with the top of your paper, and then follow that hole with the same hole punch you used, or circle punch that you used to do the template. Boom. So that everything will match. Keep this template. You need it for your pattern paper. So do that for all of the other 7 pieces that are just like this. All right, so now we want to go ahead and cut. So there are 9 boxes down here. We're going to cut out these 9 boxes. So, and then we're going to miter the corner. We're going to do this all in 2 steps. So we're going to cut this slit over at the last one score mark, 2 score mark, 3 score mark. So we're going to cut that to the top of the score marks where they meet. And then we're going to come down at a little angle above the highest score mark and slice that off. I'm going to do it with my pen. We're going to cut up to right here. This is where this score mark meets. So we're going to cut up to right here and then we're going to cut just a little triangle to meet that so that they match. So you're going to cut it right here, turn it, and just a little sliver. Boom, and done. All right, you want to go ahead and do all the rest of the pieces the same way, and then come back. Okay, I've already done all of my other pieces. I did 6, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, 6. So I'm going to repeat this again, so you guys, just in case you want to repeat it again, you're going to do it again. So how we're going to fold this is it's going to go down, up, and down on all the sides. So this first one is going down. It's going down. Score that. And then just opposite all the rest of them. So the next one is up. The last one is down. Take your bone folder, run it across. All right, do the same thing for the bottom. Down for everything. Then up. And then down. Pierce that, buddy. Down. Up. And down. Excuse me. All right. So you should have this. It's going to fold over like so. Super cute. So now you want to either add double-sided tape or wet glue to the outer portion. So this part is where you want to add the tape. Not up by the score mark, because you want to have the most amount of gusset available. So just put the glue right on that little strip. Got my book here. And we're going to do it on, we're going to start on this left side. So I'm going to use my wet glue and show you. So that's going to layer down there. And then get my pieces together here. It's going to go like that. Okay, so I'm going to start at the bottom, the outer layer here. And I'm still using art glitter glue. I just have it in one of these little mini bottles. All right, and then you want to be careful and then put that bottom layer right at the bottom. Let's see where we are here, so you guys can see what I'm doing. Line it up. It's just a little bit of border left down here, not a lot. Okay. And then once that adheres, you want to go ahead and flip it up and do the same thing. We're going to do this bottom border and then do the same for this one, this side. And like I said, you could use double-sided tape and be fine with that. So you want to smash that in and make sure that it gets in there really good. Fold that in really nice and tight. And then, how did I get way up there? I don't know. There we go. Fold that in really nice and tight, and then make sure it seals. Excuse me. Make sure you get a good seal here. And then what I can do too is just take my bone folder and give it a good press underneath there. Okay, and there you have your nice little 1/2-inch gusset pocket. And then you want to do the same thing for the rest of them. So I am going to bring my scoreboard out again so we can do this again. On the 8 1/4 inch side, you want to score at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/2. Flip it to the 7 3/4 inch side. Do 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/2. Flip it all the way and do the opposite side and score the same. 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/2. And you want to take your template, which should fit perfectly in the middle. You may have a smidge of hangover, but not much. And then you want to follow that guide to cut that out. Save the template still. Okay. Now we want to get these boxes away. You want to cut it all the way to the score and then cut it at an angle. And do the same thing for the opposite side. All the way to the score and cut it at an angle. And then you want to go down, up, down, and use your bone folder. Do the same thing. Down, up, down. See how fast this can go? Like, you can make this as large or as small as you want. You just change your spine up. If you know you're not going to do a whole bunch, do a smaller spine, a 1-inch spine. If you're just going to do a few. Okay, so now we're just going to layer this on top of that. So at this point, you can do two things. You can go ahead and take your template and get your pattern paper cut out, and you can put it on top of here so that your paper can layer like so. And depending on where you fold or how tight you fold or how crisp your folds are, this may be like a 1/16 of an inch off. But you can put that there, and then you can layer this on top. Or you can go ahead and layer all of your pieces. You don't need a whole lot. That's why I only cut mine to 4 3/4 by 2. Let me see, because you're not going to see it. You see? So you just see just a little bit when you open it, but if you look in there, I only cut it that far down. I didn't cut it a lot down. So what I was saying was, you can go ahead and layer this top down, and then you can, at the very end, slip, measure this down a little bit and slip your piece in there. Totally up to you. Okay, so I'm just going to head and add this here. I'm not going to add any paper in between. So I'm just going to add my glue, wet glue there. Darn it, I should have started at the bottom. But we can still fix that. And then do this one here. So we're still adding on the last flap at the edge. I just did it a little backwards. I should have started at the bottom, so I can have more time to play with it. But we're here now. Just make sure everything lines up the best way you can. There we go. All right. Make sure that gets on there really well. And there we go. We have the 2 pockets. The 2 little gussets there. Super cute. Yeah. And make sure. Okay. So you want to add that. Now the rest of these I've already done with double-sided tape. So I just wanted to share with you that you could do it still with the wet glue. And you want to add these to the bottom, or just continue to keep layering. So double-sided tape might be easier for some. Wet glue might be easier for some. So it's whatever you choose. Just lay it on there. Super, super cute. So I'm going to continue to keep layering these, and I'll be back. Okay, I am all done putting the accordions together, and these are a lot thicker. You have a lot more gusset space, and they're accordions, so they do shrink down, but you may not like it to, so that's how it looks. So you'll have to put a closer piece on here. You have to keep it closed because they are quite thick, and you can still close it and add pictures in here. Of course, you want to add pictures, but you still have a lot of room in here, is what I'm saying. Even if you brought it out here, that's still this much room to be filled with photos. You see what I'm saying? So it's huge like that, because it's like, oh, it's a big, huge book, but nope. Close it up. Good as day. Good as new. So that's it. So the only thing you would have to do at this point is layer your paper. And this is, again, 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. Let me just make sure before I tell that lie. Yep, 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. So you can mat your papers, and then you would make the inserts 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. You would do that by cutting cardstock down. That's the way that you can put photos on the front and back, and it still doesn't limit to just this little bit of amount. You know, you have to limit it to 2. So this would be your insert, 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. That would fit right in there perfectly. And you will put your photo mat of your pattern paper on top. Let's see. Okay, we'll use this sheet here, and this is what, 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. So we want to cut this down to 6 1/4 by 4 1/2. You just want to be aware, by 4 1/4. Sorry, 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. But you just want to be aware of if you're using directional paper or directional images or sayings or something, you want to be conscious of where you're cutting, making your cutting marks. So this would go right on top of here. Okay, but before we do that, we want to go ahead and punch. So I'm using this McGill punch, and then I'm just using this scrap that's left over. You can use any type of tab punch that you want. This always comes in handy for me. And then I just fold it over like such. I don't layer my paper down yet, guys. You're going to grab your template, just so you can have a guide. And then I'm going to grab my glue. I'm going to put my wet glue on the back of one of the tabs, like so, with my guide right there. I will place my tab in the back of that so it'll center in the middle. See, this is the middle of the hole. I put my tab so it'll center, pull there, and then I add glue to the other side, leaving just a smidge of height right there where they can pull it. And then I take my pattern paper that I cut down, 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. There we go. And I want to do the same thing, add another piece of pattern paper to the back, 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. And then my 4 by 6 photo would fit right on top of there with a cute little border. And then that fits right in there, just like so. So then if you want to, so you got photo on the front, photo on the back. So in this book right now, you have a chance for 16 photos. So if you want to get your templates cut, you want to put them right in there. See, that's with the fold and everything. So you want to evenly just, I'm going to knock off just like a tidge. That's not even a word, but it's going to knock off a tidge on both sides. A sliver. And do this when you get done cutting all your templates. And then you measure it, boom. Fits right in there. And this would be your pattern paper. If you want to be able to look in there and see pattern paper if you want. If that's not your thing, then leave it be. And then you want to cut a piece of pattern paper for your spine, which is 2 by 7. So you can either do 1 7/8 by 6 7/8, have a little border, or not. And so the last thing that you would do is to add a little piece here to be able to close the book up. So hopefully you guys learned something new today. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, guys. I really, really appreciate it when you all do that. And be sure to check out Scrapbooking with Me Boutique. And also check out, if you haven't seen this video, which is missing a flower because I knocked it off. If you haven't seen this video, I'll put the link down in the description box, and I will put that flower back. No photo albums will be harmed in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. All right, guys. Bye.